Hello and welcome to episode 1 of DC Solicitors Employment Law Snapshots, a brief, simple and sometimes amusing look at all things employment law related. In this week's episode, I'll give you a brief overview of some of the key elements of the new shared parental leave regime that became law on the 1st of April. I hope you find it helpful. Before we get started, I read an interesting piece of employment-related research this week produced by the Risk Advisory Group. The research undertook an analysis of 3,000 CVs to see how accurate and honest their authors had been. Incredibly, the report concluded that 63% of the CVs contained what the researchers called discrepancies, or perhaps what others might call lies. Even more surprisingly, given the fact that so much of our personal information can be found online nowadays, the report said that this was a 15% increase from a similar piece of research undertaken 10 years ago. According to the report, 26% of the CVs contained mistakes about academic background and 35% had discrepancies about employment history. The analysis also showed an increasing tendency for candidates to embellish their roles, with 12% inflating their job titles in an attempt to sound more important than they were, with many replacing words such as graduate with manager or supervisor. Others had simply made up their qualifications or created fictional job histories abroad to cover up time spent in prison. Thankfully, when my fellow partners at DC looked at my CV, they didn't bat an eyelid at my double first from Oxford in advanced astrophysics and archaeology, or that I'd circumnavigated the globe in a canoe, or the fact that I could speak 12 languages fluently. Anyway, on with the law, or as the French would say, je voudrais une bière, s'il vous plaît. The introduction of the shared parental leave scheme is a result of the current government's pledge to support both parents in being as involved as possible in the care of their child following its birth or adoption. The aim of the new law is to give parents greater flexibility about how they organise care for their child in the first year of its life or after its adoption. In simple terms, the shared parental leave scheme allows parents to split and share the amount of time they each have off work to care for their new child, if they want to, because don't forget, it's entirely optional. The law applies to any eligible employee who becomes a new parent or adopts a child after the 1st of April 2015. For the sake of simplicity, we'll look at the new scheme from the perspective of parents of a birth child. But the rules are broadly the same when a child's adopted. Shared parental leave can be taken by two people who share the main responsibility for caring for the child. This is obviously the mother and either the father of the child or the mother's spouse, civil partner, or the partner of the child's mother. However, both the mother and the other partner must both meet certain eligibility criteria to take shared parental leave. For the mother to be eligible, she must be entitled to statutory maternity leave or pay and have worked for the same employer for 26 weeks, ending with the 15th week before the baby's due. In addition, her partner must have worked for at least 26 weeks in the 66 weeks leading up to the child's due date and have earned an average of at least £30 a week in any 13 of those weeks. The way in which shared parental leave can be taken is extremely flexible. Importantly, the mother will still be required to take the first 2 weeks of the 52-week period as compulsory maternity leave. However, after that, the mother will be able to end her maternity leave or commit to doing so at a future date and share the untaken balance of the maternity leave and pay with her partner as shared parental leave. All of the shared parental leave must be taken within 52 weeks of the birth of the child, and therefore, under the new system, employees will have the right to share up to a maximum of 50 weeks leave with their partner. Parents can take shared parental leave at the same time together, or take alternate periods while one parent returns to work and the other's on leave. An employee can take shared parental leave in a single continuous block, and employees have the right to ask for up to 3 continuous blocks of leave as long as the block of leave is for at least 1 week. Alternatively, an employee can ask for shared parental leave to be taken in smaller blocks of leave, interspersed with time at work. This is called discontinuous leave. If employees want to take shared parental leave, they must give their employer written notice at least 8 weeks before they want the leave to begin. They have to confirm the dates that the leave will begin and end. The written notice must be accompanied by a declaration signed by the employee stating, amongst other things, that the employee meets or will meet the eligibility conditions and is entitled to take shared parental leave. A declaration signed by the employee's partner must also be submitted. The request can either be for a continuous block of leave, for example 10 weeks in a row, or for a period of discontinuous leave, for example where the employee asks for a set number of weeks of leave over a period of time, with breaks between the leave where the employee returns to work. An employer can't refuse a request for a continuous period of leave. However, if they receive a request for a period of discontinuous leave, the employer can refuse this request or propose different dates. If a request for discontinuous leave is refused and alternative dates can't be agreed, the employee can withdraw the request and it won't count as one of their 3 request entitlements. Or they can take the total amount of leave requested as one period of continuous leave. Employees are entitled to work for their employer or attend training for up to 20 days during shared parental leave without bringing their shared parental leave period to an end. These days are called shared parental leave in touch or split days. They can only be worked if both the employee and the employer agree to it. Employees are entitled to the benefit of their normal terms and conditions of employment, except for terms relating to salary, throughout the period of shared parental leave. Entitlement to annual leave also continues to accrue during shared parental leave. Rights of employees on returning to work will depend on the amount of shared parental leave they've taken, together with any other statutory leave. If an employee's aggregate total statutory maternity, paternity, adoption leave and shared parental leave amounts to 26 weeks or less, the employee is entitled to return to the same job they held before commencing the last period of leave. If the aggregate total amounts to 26 weeks or more, the employee is entitled to return to the same job they had before commencing the last period of leave, or, if this isn't reasonably practicable, to another job which is both suitable and appropriate, and on terms and conditions that are no less favourable. And finally, yesterday I read a great article in The Telegraph that reported on a Greek study which concluded that employees who engage in, how can I put it, nocturnal activities 2 or 3 times a week earn 4.5% more than employees who don't. However, the study wasn't able to establish whether more activity helped to improve work performance, which then led to increased earnings, or whether it was simply the case that those employees on higher incomes were more likely to be more lucky with the amount of activity that they had. Anyway, when I rather eagerly mentioned these statistics to Mrs. Tibble last night, she said, and I quote, "Well dear, money isn't everything, is it?" Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Employment Law Snapshots. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates, click here. If you want to follow us on Twitter, click here. Or if you want more detailed information about shared parental leave, please go to our website by clicking here. Also, all of the links are below. Once again, thanks for watching and see you next time.